Colinward, Anarchism, a very short introduction. In this summary of Anarchism, a very short introduction, by Colin Ward, we explore the multifaceted ideology of anarchism and its roots in the French Revolution. Delve into a rich tapestry of political beliefs that defy traditional hierarchies and emphasize voluntary cooperation, community control of resources, and a temporary, localized approach to organization. Learn how prominent thinkers like Pierre-Joseph Proudhon and Peter Kropotkin laid the foundation for revolutionary socialism, and influenced real-world applications of anarchist thought. This summary also touches on the practical implications of anarchism in areas such as penal reform and environmental sustainability.
Anarchy, breaking hierarchies. Anarchy, derived from the Greek word anarchia meaning, without leader, is a political ideology that advocates for a society free of centralized governments and authorities. Anarchism was first promoted by Pierre-Joseph Proudhon in the mid-19th century, inspired by the failures of the French Revolution. Anarchist groups, such as anarcho-communists, promote the communal control of land, resources, and production. The key principles of an anarchist society include voluntary membership, functional existence, temporary organizations, and small-scale collaboration to prevent hierarchies from forming. In the days following the French Revolution, many peasants and workers felt disillusioned by the rising bourgeois political class, which seemed no different from the ousted aristocrats. Brutal police forces and oppressive armies left a lasting impact on society, and thinkers like Pierre-Joseph Proudhon were inspired to seek alternatives to conventional governance. This led to the development of anarchism, a political ideology that believes in voluntary agreements between individuals and groups, fostering a society built on fairness and efficiency. Anarchists have long been concerned with dismantling the state and constructing a more equitable society, but their approach to achieving these goals differs among the various strands of anarchist thought. Anarcho-communists, the most prominent group within anarchism, argue that communities should have control over land, resources, and production. Other schools spotlight specific issues like feminism or environmentalism, but all anarchists reject hierarchies and external control, whether implemented by states, employers, or religious institutions. So, how would an anarchist society take shape? There are four primary principles that would dictate its organization. 1. Voluntary membership. Participation should never be mandated, as it impinges on personal freedom and responsibility. 2. Functional existence. Anarchist organizations must serve a clear purpose and justification for existence. 3. Temporary nature. Organizations should be fleeting because permanent structures tend to prioritize self-sustenance over their initial goals. 4. Small-scale collaboration. Keeping groups small and intimate helps suppress the development of hierarchies and fosters problem-solving through direct interaction. While it may seem like anarchism chiefly involves theoretical discussions, real-world examples of how specific anarchist ideas can facilitate social change and influence practice exist. By reimagining the way society is structured and rejecting oppressive hierarchies, anarchism holds the potential to reshape the world in a fairer and more equitable manner. Anarchism's influential pioneers. Anarchism has traversed a rich history, with three pivotal interconnected aspects: the political theories of Peter Kropotkin and Pierre-Joseph Proudhon, as well as the fervor surrounding the Spanish Civil War. Proudhon coined the term anarchism and claimed both property is theft and property is freedom, highlighting the importance of non-exploitative ownership. His emphasis on federalism between communes played a crucial role in the Paris Commune of 1871. Kropotkin, another early advocate, provided a framework for post-revolutionary commune self-organization through mutual aid and voluntary cooperation. These theories influenced the Spanish Civil War, transforming Spain's society through collectivization, and showcasing anarchism's potential for remarkable social change. Throughout anarchism's storied history, the contributions of Russian philosopher Peter Kropotkin and Pierre-Joseph Proudhon are significant in shaping the movement. Proudhon, known for coining the term anarchism, argued that property is theft and property is freedom. He believed that property acquired through exploitation or conquest constituted theft, while ownership was essential for individuals' freedom to flourish without coercion. Proudhon's insistence on federalism between communes influenced the Paris Commune of 1871, which many consider the first instance of revolutionary socialism in practice. The revolutionary communards recognized the need to federate with other communes to sustain their own, though the commune ultimately did not last long. Peter Kropotkin, another influential advocate of anarchism, aimed to establish a well-supported foundation for the ideology. In his famous work, The Conquest of Bread, Kropotkin outlined a framework for self-organization of post-revolutionary communes through mutual aid and voluntary cooperation. His theories would later resonate during the Spanish Civil War and the 1936 Revolution. At the time, Spain was predominantly agricultural, with a concentrated land ownership among the wealthy. The revolution drastically altered this landscape through massive collectivization. In revolutionary Catalonia, collectivization expanded into public transportation, electricity, and telecommunications. Though fascist forces ultimately won the Spanish Civil War, anarchism's practical success in the country demonstrated its potential for significant social transformations. Anarchism's impact on prison reform. Anarchist philosophies offer valuable insights for prison reform, contributing to the evolution and improvement of modern penal systems. Highlighting the detrimental effects of imprisoning petty criminals, anarchists have inspired measures to break the cycle of crime and re-imprisonment. Their advocacy for the decriminalization of drug use and sales has shown remarkable success in reducing addiction and prison populations in cities like Zurich and Amsterdam. Anarchism may idealize a world without hierarchies, but the concepts rooted in this belief can have significant real-world implications, specifically, in the realm of prison reform. Trailblazing anarchist thinkers such as Kropotkin, who knew the bitter truth of confinement firsthand, labeled prisons as universities of crime. These institutions, instead of punishing petty criminals, further enable criminal activity by allowing inmates to learn more sophisticated tactics from their peers. This counterintuitive outcome of incarceration was not lost on American penal reformers, many of whom were conscientious objectors to war. Understanding the role that poverty plays in driving petty crimes, they recognize the vicious cycle of imprisonment. Poverty breeds criminality, incarceration develops more criminal skills, and finally, release results in re-offending, leading to repeated imprisonments. Thanks to these reformers, the U.S. criminal justice system saw a slow but essential evolution. The probation service, for example, was established to support offenders during their reintegration into society, ultimately lowering the chances of re-offending. Unfortunately, the progress in the past century has been largely undermined, with the United States now home to the highest prison population in history. As we confront new challenges, such as overcrowding due to drug-related offenses, it's crucial to revisit the wisdom of those like Italian anarchist Enrico Malatesta. In the early 20th century, he astutely observed that imprisoning drug users only heightened addiction and elevated drug trafficking. He argued for the decriminalization of drug usage and sales, a policy that, when applied in cities like Amsterdam and Zurich, has proven effective in reducing drug-related issues while alleviating the burden on prisons. Anarchists' subtle revolutions. While it might appear as though anarchists failed to bring about massive societal change via revolution, they have undoubtedly influenced many aspects of our daily lives. Through radical nonconformity in activism, they helped relax dress codes, contributed to the women's movement, and gave rise to free unions and free love. More recently, with the birth of the Internet, anarchists have coordinated global protests against powerful entities, like the failed Multilateral Agreement on Investment in 1999. Despite not achieving widespread revolutionary success, anarchists have played a crucial role in effecting smaller yet significant societal changes. One often overlooked accomplishment is how they influenced the way we dress. By actively rejecting fashion norms and promoting radical nonconformity, anarchists of the 20th century contributed to a tremendous relaxation of class and gender-based dress expectations. Another critical contribution of anarchists lies in the women's movement. Emma Goldman, a prominent anarchist and feminist philosopher, wrote her groundbreaking work, The Tragedy of Women's Emancipation, in 1906. She argued that suffrage alone was insufficient for women's emancipation, advocating for the right to choose motherhood and engage in sexual relations freely. Goldman also pioneered the concept of free love, central to her vision of sexual relations in an anarchist society. Free love, promoted by Goldman and other anarchists, laid the foundations for free unions as an alternative to state or church-sanctioned marriages. As contraception advanced, their revolutionary practice of free love gradually became the norm by the end of the 20th century. These subtle revolutions have had a lasting impact on our daily lives. Furthermore, the advent of the Internet enabled anarchists to amplify their activism globally. They coordinated online to fight oppressive measures, as seen in the 1999 protests against the Multilateral Agreement on Investment. This treaty, drafted by the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD, nations and big businesses, would have allowed corporations to sue countries that limited their profit-making activities. Internet-savvy activists managed to obtain and leak the draft treaty, organizing massive protests to oppose it. When the treaty negotiators convened in Seattle in November 1999, they were met with tens of thousands of disruptive protesters, ultimately leading to the collapse of the talks. In summary, anarchists have left indelible marks on various aspects of society, despite not realizing their revolutionary goals. From influencing fashion to supporting the women's movement and promoting free love, the impact of anarchist ideas can be seen all around us. Additionally, their online activism continues to challenge oppressive systems on a global scale. The legacy of anarchists' subtle revolutions should not be underestimated. Embracing anarchist eco-principles. The 21st century has presented humanity with unprecedented challenges due to climate change and finite resources, but capitalism's infinite growth mindset is ill-equipped to handle these issues. Anarchists and green movement advocates propose an alternative, adopting sustainable, collectivist lifestyles that prioritize environmental preservation. Peter Harper differentiates between light greens, who focus on individualized green technology, and deep greens, who emphasize community-based, localized approaches. Inspired by anarchist ideals of collectivization and sustainability, the deep green philosophy could help societies face impending ecological crises. Kropotkin, an early anarchist, envisioned small-scale local food production as a solution to resource exhaustion. Today, this approach has proven successful in urban farming contexts such as China, where the majority of vegetables are produced and consumed locally. Kropotkin's ideas continue to hold relevance for reimagining future human societies as collectivized, egalitarian entities and for ensuring the planet's survival.
Anarchism may not have led to sweeping societal changes through revolution, but its principles and ideas have had a lasting impact on various aspects of our daily lives. From the influential writings of feminist philosopher Emma Goldman to anarchists' contributions to prison reform, these ideologies have shaped policies, reforms, and practices throughout history. Moreover, anarchism offers valuable insights into sustainable living and addressing ecological issues, with deep green lifestyles and local food production as potential solutions. As capitalism struggles to confront environmental challenges, we can turn to the principles of anarchism and its various thinkers to help us reimagine a future that embraces collectivization, equality, and the preservation of our planet.